With Ninjala Season 4 now underway, it's time once again, of course, to talk about the prior season of Ninjala, Ninjala Season 3. And let me tell you, Ninjala Season 3, honestly, so far, it's probably the best season they've run. So let's take a look back and discuss what made Season 3 so great. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all the core gamers out there. CAJ Man 777 here, one of your many Ninjala Gung Ho ambassadors, to discuss the now finished third season of Ninjala. Much like the previous two season reviews, I'm going to be going in depth with everything Season 3 had to offer. But of course, before I get further into the review, I just want to remind you guys that if you are, of course, enjoying the Ninjala content on the channel, do me a favor and hit that like button, as well as hitting that subscribe button for more Ninjala content. So with that out of the way, let's get right into our review and talk about Ninjala Season 3, of course, starting with the launch. Ninjala Season 3 started off strong, and I mean really strong, with the launch of the season's opening video. The video featured many people at a concert listening to not only a DJ, but the song Ninjari Bang Bang by Japanese pop star Kari Pami Pamu. If I butchered that name, I apologize. But I would say, honestly, this opening season video was a very flashy video and gave players, for Ninjala Season 3, a generalized idea of what, of course, we'd be expecting in this season. Season 3, of course, this time focused around the theme of dragons and showed off in this video many of the new Battle Pass costumes, some emotes, and of course, hinted not only at one, but two collaborations Season 3 would be getting. One of these collaborations had already been long discussed in prior seasons featuring Kari Pamu Pamu, but this time in Season 3, the collaboration was actually going to be a reality. And as I said, with the theme of the season being based around dragons, one could argue that the second collaboration that was set for later in Season 3 was kind of already being hinted at in the beginning of the opening video as well. Season 3 definitely came out strong in this regard, and of course, because of this, so many people were hyped. However, with many good things in a season, there are also some negative things in a season, much like any game with a season pass. But honestly, I think Season 3 didn't really have as many negatives as the previous two seasons. Of course, I'll be talking about that a little bit later, but with 5 million plus downloads to its name, Ninjala was on its way to having a massively bright season. So let's start with all the good stuff the season brought about, starting, of course, with the season pass. The Season 3 pass, I think, blew so many people out of the water. Compared to the Season 2 pass, the devs of Ninjala had a much, much stronger idea of what players wanted to see in their Season Pass. As I stated, Season 3 had many good things going for it, and the Season Pass honestly was a great start for the players who continued to play or just started playing Ninjala in Season 3 for the first time. Now, while this Season Pass, as I said, was focused around the theme of dragons, it was much more of a holiday-like Season Pass, because during Ninjala Season 3, it was actually its up to date. Currently, Ninjala Season 3 was the longest running season, starting on October 28th of 2020 and lasting all the way into the new year on January 6th of 2021. And because of this, the items offered in the Season Pass, there were, of course, items that were based around the new year. There were costumes that were based around the holiday season. Not only did they stick to the theme of dragons, but they also kind of really stuck to that holiday theme with the pass being in the season. So I was very happy about this pass. I think this pass looked really good. I think this pass offered a ton of things. And the pass, of course, even offered more Jala for the pass holders. I think it was around like 1550, which is the game's premium currency. For those of you who don't know, Jala is the game's previous currency, compared, of course, to Season 2. However, with the Season 3 pass, I think Ninjala is at the point where they don't need to add any more premium currency into that premium pass. Because, as I said, there was already like 1,550 Jala in the last pass, basically. So I don't think you need to add any more premium currency into the pass. Like I said, there were many good costumes and emotes in this pass, and I saw so many players wearing not only the Tier 100s, but I believe the Dragon Dance outfit as well in Season 3. I think the costumes for Season 3 were just absolutely incredible. I would say definitely the Season Pass overall was excellent, and it had some super nice rewards throughout the pass. However, I will say not everything in the Season Pass made me entirely happy. But I mean, I've kind of brought this up in my last season review, but I also, when I start up a new season for Ninjala, I like to review the non-premium pass as well. And I've thought of this for a while now, and even listened to what I thought in my season 2 review, and compared it to the thoughts I have on my season 3 like free pass. So my views on the free pass have changed very slightly compared to the premium pass in Ninjala. So I mean, let's just get right into that. I mean, for starters, I think the free pass players still, I think to this day, in order to improve it, I still think the free pass players need the ability to earn a full outfit by tier 100. For 3 seasons in a row, free pass players, that is so hard to say, have only gotten a single piece of headgear or like a face mask for the last 3 seasons. And in a game that really shows off characters being able to look cool in some of these outfits, the free pass players just kind of get a headpiece. That's it. They don't even get a costume. Now, while yes, it's true having the free pass nets you some stickers, epone decorations, and emotes, I think Ninjala's at that point where free pass players also need to get a full costume, because just giving them a face mask or a helmet, it's just not worth it, especially with a game that has as much customization as Ninjala. So just give them a full costume too. And like I said, it's a pretty easy fix, and it easily can be remedied by doing something similar to how they handle the premium tier 100 costume. So what I'd personally like to see is, much like the last few season passes, you put the headgear piece for free pass players in its normal spot, and then you'd put the costume that goes along with that headpiece at the end for the free pass at tier 100. This way, it gives free pass players, if they don't want to be able to purchase the season pass this season, or they just don't want to purchase it at all, it gives them still something to strive for so they keep playing the game. And of course, as per usual, they can leave the stickers, the epones, the emotes in the normal spots as well. But you also have to keep in mind, this would also kind of be a benefit to premium pass players, because not only would they be getting like 3 or 4 full outfits, but now you're looking at maybe 4 or 5 full outfits, including the free pass one as well. So there are benefits, I think, for both parties here. But honestly, that's really where the similarities end for what I think the free pass should change. So let's talk about what I'd like to see in terms of the premium currency for free pass players. In my previous 2 reviews, I said, and I quote, I think Gung Ho should give enough premium currency to free pass players so they could get a premium, or so they could purchase the premium pass by tier 100. And honestly, in the last 2 reviews, while that sounded awesome, in season 3, as I played Ninjala, I kept thinking about this point the entire time. And honestly, my views on this have changed, because it would absolutely break the game's economy. Due to this, everybody could potentially have the premium pass, plus the premium pass's extra Jala that it already gets without having to pay for that premium pass. So at the end of the day, there's actually no profit from a business standpoint to give free pass players enough Jala to purchase the premium pass by tier 100. So how did I change this up? Well, I looked at this for the season, specifically a little bit differently for Season 3. And I'm very pleased to inform you right now that Season 4 did exactly this. So what they did is they gave the free pass players some Jala. It was not enough to earn the premium pass by tier 100, and I would say relatively, in my initial prediction, I'd say give them about 200 or 300 Jala, which sounds fair to me for free pass players, which is exactly what they did in Season 4. So, because of this, granted 200 Jala, while it doesn't sound like a lot, is still enough to get a little emote or sticker for the free pass players, and that's it. However, if the free pass players were smart about this, what this would allow them to do, is save that premium currency up over 3 or 4 seasons, and then be able to purchase the premium pass in that next season after they saved up enough. Not only that, but of course from a business standpoint, this would be, from a business standpoint, this is a much better decision. The profit being made from the premium pass for Ninjala would still be there, as well as that free pass system as well still being in place. So I think it's definitely a more healthy balance in terms of what's going on. But I mean, obviously, for free pass players, it would take up, it would take a few seasons to build up that 900 Jala, which is what the premium pass costs if you don't get the bundle. But honestly, I don't really see that being too much of an issue with just giving the free pass players 200 Jala at this point, especially because Gung Ho has been very kind and the devs of Ninjala have been very kind in giving some players Jala compensation for certain things as well. I'd kind of like to see some medals being added to that because I feel like medals are used a lot as much as Jala, but honestly, I think where the free pass stands now, with just giving them 200 Jala, especially that's exactly what it is in Season 4. I think that's a great thing, and this is kind of where my view has stood on that for Season 3. And again, it had to change because it was a game-breaking system, I think, initially, if they're giving the free pass players enough Jala by the end of it. So, my mistake. But honestly, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Season 3 pass. So let's move on to talking about another thing that I think made Season 3 really great. And honestly, it was, for me, the new story mode chapter. Of course, with a new paid story mode chapter becomes a new character to follow. And this time around, the story mode chapter followed Baraka on her quest for more information to figure out why her father went missing. The colorful cast of characters in this chapter included Kappei, whose English voice actor is actually none other than Kath Soucie, who has done voice work in the past for characters like Phil in Rugrats, Dexter's mother in Dexter's Laboratory, and even Sally Acorn from the 1993 Sonic the Hedgehog series. So there is some very cool, very cute little voice lines and voice work between the characters of Baraka and Kappei in this chapter. Of course, Baraka in this chapter is also joined by Master Gen Ryusai and his brother Gen Unsai, and there are absolutely some hilarious conversations as well in this chapter, along with the Baraka Pog face. So, Baraka Pog, I mean, that's just a 10 out of 10 if I've ever seen one. And the whole time, this chapter, it just made me smile ear to ear. Personally, on a personal note, I wish for future story mode chapters, I wish the voice actors specifically for the characters actually read their lines during these chapters, rather than just the characters using the sound clips that they have already in the game. And honestly, I think that'd be a great decision because I feel like it'd breathe more life into the characters. I mean, the characters already have great personalities as well, but I'd kind of like to see that further explored into these story mode chapters. So that's just a personal thing that I'd like to see. But unlike Van's story mode chapter, Baraka's story mode chapter has no quote-unquote tutorial-like sequence, which I think is absolutely fair because Baraka, technically, in the lore of Ninjala, is an adult who turned into a kid after chewing the ninja gum. So it makes sense why she wouldn't need a tutorial because she kind of understands her shinobi heritage a little bit. And I think, that, again, that's just a cute little detail because Van, in retrospect, is technically very new to being to the whole being a ninja thing, so it makes sense to why he would be the one to get a tutorial mode based like story chapter. Baraka's story chapter also introduces a new type of enemy, the Shadow Ninja, which honestly move pretty effectively compared to the Space Ninja. They act extremely aggressive and they will constantly try and surround you. Now, without getting too much into spoiler territory here, as I mentioned, the Space Ninjas kind of already show up in this chapter, but things between the two parties kind of happen, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I think you'll have to play the story mode chapter yourself to kind of understand that. Baraka's story mode chapter, in the same vein, during these missions also contained a new defend the zone type idea, which honestly I think would be a pretty cool idea for a featured battle mode. But like I said, this whole chapter I was smiling ear to ear, and it was definitely worth the pick up. So if you have not picked up the story mode chapter yet for Baraka, I absolutely recommend it. And you can get some exclusive stuff that you can only unlock in the story mode chapter for use in the actual Ninjala battles. Unfortunately, though, the story chapters are only able to be played in single player. So, I mean, what about multiplayer challenges specifically, like outside of the story mode? What did Season 3 really kind of change up to make the game feel fresh? Well, with addition of, once again, a new map, a new weapon type, and yes, ranked fixes, multiplayer for Ninjala also seem to be in a really good spot as well. So let's start outright with the new map, Croissant Arena, which was a French-themed map that was an absolutely suitable size with multiple elevations for 8 players. The new map featured a few new gimmicks known as the drone map and doors. Yes, doors. The drone map specifically, I will say, was located on the lower end of the map in one of the 2 corners, and it would specifically show players where and when the drones would spawn at that location. And honestly, this was a super helpful tool, especially for newer players, but even for us experienced players, knowing where you had to go for the beginning of the game to really get that first drone to start getting that advantage, I think that was a really good idea. I know personally, I take a peek at the drone map like directly in the beginning of the game, and I'd memorize all the drone spots within a matter of seconds to see maybe where players might be going, or if there were going to be drones that were kind of out there that nobody knew were going to spawn. I think that was a really good idea for the drone map, and it kind of developed a little bit of strategy, especially if you took a quick little peek at it. But of course, alongside with the drone map in Croissant Arena, the map also featured separation doors, and kind of like an upper and lower section, which separated not only the lower and upper parts of the map, but the multiple sections of the lower part of the map into like 4 smaller sections. So there could be some pretty hectic combat in those small sections. On top of the 3 elevations that map already had, and of course, opposite the corners of the drone maps, you'd be able to drop on your opponents from that higher elevation to the lower elevation as well. So, I mean, that was it. The map, I think, overall played very effectively, and I really like the, mid to large size map there. I think there was a lot of fun, especially if you got into a fight in one of those lower sections where most of the fighting takes place anyway. However, I do believe there was a very small issue for Season 3's Croissant Arena, and honestly, it's a pretty big issue, and that definitely should be addressed. It's the frame rate. Ninjala, as many people know, or many people might not know, Ninjala actually runs at 60 frames a second, but in specific parts of Croissant Arena, more specifically, if there's a ton of action in a very enclosed space, or by too many dash panels, the frame rate would tank to 40. And I mean, it would tank to 40, and it was very noticeable. That's a problem. Especially in a game that can be as fast-paced in combat as Ninjala, I really hope the frame rate in these certain areas gets addressed in a future update, along with kind of fixing the lag issues. But honestly, I think Croissant Arena overall was a very fun map. However, along with that new map, we also got a new weapon class, a new technically subclass of hammer known as the Popeye hammer and the Cerberus, which for some reason is not actually a 3-headed dog hammer, and it is instead a shoe with googly eyes. I don't understand the whole design process behind that one, but I will say I think these 2 weapons became an absolute mainstay in team battles. The reason I say this is because these weapons brought about a brand new special to the field, which could not only heal you in a battle royale, but your teammates in team battle as well. There were also even 3 different variations of this healing attack, which changed how the healing field acted. So, I mean, it was a very useful weapon, because in team battles, if you healed your teammates or healed yourself, you'd actually also get points for doing that. However, to compensate for the power of this healing field, the weapons themselves, being a hammer, had some rather slow attacks. But because of this, certain attacks on the Cerberus and Popeye were just never used, and the one that really comes to mind is the wide attack, because it could not be canceled. It was a very slow spin, and it just didn't hit multiple times. It did a decent amount of damage, but it could not be canceled into other attacks. But honestly, that's okay, because the weapon specifically was not designed for beginners. In fact, I would say this weapon has a very decent skill ceiling, making it probably one of the harder weapons in the game to master, because you have to change up your playstyle depending on whether you're playing in teams with it or if you're playing in Battle Royale. Its combo strings, in my opinion, are also hard to master, and of course, along with these new weapons, they also brought about a new gumshoot and a new gum ninjutsu to the table, which honestly I still appreciate on new weapons, because it gives more variety in the weapon selection, and honestly goes into strategy. In particular, the Gum Ninjutsu, I find so much joy in, and they've kind of changed the way it functions in Season 4 a little bit. It's just a scroll on the ground, but, if anybody gets close to it, here's just a shark that comes up and eats you. I love the Jaws reference that it gives, and honestly, it brings, like, bringing a new weapon class and new ninjutsu, it just brings so much more variety into the game, and I'm very excited for the future to see what else they bring in as well. Obviously, I get to, for this season and season 4, which is currently running, I literally get to beat people up with a guitar, which is something I thought I would never say, but who would also say I get to beat people up with a shoe with googly eyes? Yeah, again, I still don't understand. I still don't understand that one. But honestly, with the variety of weapons now added in Ninjala and the variety of maps and weapons we have, I'm very excited for where this game goes, and kind of like the map drought and the weapon drought. It just doesn't feel like it exists anymore. However, in Season 3, there was one huge fix I have yet to talk about, and that was the ranked system. And oh my god, it was about time. Ranked, in many people's eyes, had been rejuvenated. No longer did we lose 40 plus points from getting 6th place in a BR lobby when you were completely outranked. The same could also be said for team battles. Everybody I talked to in Season 3 really seemed to enjoy how the ranked overhaul worked. And let me tell you, as I said, it was absolutely needed. And with ranked getting an overhaul, you'd think they'd fix matching up with similar ranks. Yeah? Well, yes and no. You see, in Battle Royale, this happened to be the case. The Battle Royale felt much more balanced, but unfortunately, team ranked battles really did not have this luxury, and you'd still have full teams of ninja gods going against much lower ranks. And I think the reason behind this is because when you queue up with a party in ranked in groups of like 3 or more, what Ninjala tries to do is it tries to match you with players who are also in groups of 3 or more, which is why you'd often see uneven matches, and in my eyes, that is absolutely unacceptable. Regardless of whether or not you partied up, you should be matched still accordingly to your skill level, especially in a ranked system. Free matches really don't count in this. And obviously, this is something that can still be fixed, but another fix specifically I'd like to still see for ranked is another point readjustment for team battles, and honestly, I could just put up the graphic now because they actually fixed this in Season 4 as the season currently goes on. This I didn't, I kind of skimmed over this morning because I wanted to wait on stream, but adjustments to ranked matches. With this update, we have overhauled the rating for team battles. Oh my god! I literally just, so in the script I wrote on my Season 3 review, I said they'll have to adjust the point system in team battles for Season 4. Lo and behold! As a result of the changes, we have found that ratings increased too much in team battles, and have made fundamental adjustments to the rating calculation to prevent too much rise or fall. That is exactly what they needed to do. To make the term Team Ninja God actually have some meaning again. Because players, when they hit these higher ranks, they want to feel accomplished when they hit that milestone. They don't just want to be another number on the leaderboard. But other than that, like, minor gripe, which, again, as I said, has already been fixed in Season 4, thank you patch notes for that, ranked is in such a good spot now than it was in the previous seasons. And it wasn't just a rank fix that kept people playing this game through Season 3. It was also the fact that this season also had not only 1, but 2 collaborations. Going back to what I said at the beginning of the Season 3 review, the opening video for Season 3 featured Ninjala Bang Bang by Carrie Pamu Pamu. And this, let me tell you, wasn't a coincidence. Because on the first day of Season 3, Carrie's collab with Ninjala began, and not only was it a bop, but it was by far everybody's favorite collaboration. Not only could we get Carrie's outfit from the specific music video that went along with it, that was hugely popular in Japan and here in the States and possibly around the world. I don't know the whole stats from around the world, but we also got our first legendary emote with this collaboration, the Ninjala Bang Bang dance, which not only played the song while performing it, but we also kind of got the song to use as our battle theme as well. What a great collab this was, and it ran from the start of the season to midway through the season on November 26th of the last year. Of course, shortly after the Carrie Pamu Pamu collab ended, we got of course, another developer diary, the second collab of Ninjala Season 3, which featured another game made directly by Gung Ho, Puzzles and Dragons. And honestly, I think a lot of people kind of saw this one coming, seeing that it literally had dragon in the name and Season 3 was Dragons. But with this collab, we got outfits from famous Puzzles and Dragons characters, as well as songs from the game itself when you had the outfits equipped, as well as a little cute little epone thing, which I do enjoy using. I like the Puzzles and Dragons epone. But, of course, despite the two collaborations, I think, being great, no collaboration is without its problems, right? Well, here's the thing. For certain Ninjala players, it seemed that players weren't too happy about one thing with the collaboration outfits, and that is the fact that they were locked sets. You see, during the Sonic collaboration that we got back in Season 2, the sets weren't locked. So you could kind of equip, like if you wanted to wear Tails' hat with Sonic's shirt, you could absolutely do that. So why specifically these collaborations? Why were these collaboration sets locked? Well, as many people know, or many people might not know, companies, trademarks, and copyrights actually play a major part into why things happen the way they do. So ultimately, it's actually up to the property owner how they want their image to be represented in the game. In a collab situation. It's actually not up to the team behind a Ninjala. It's actually who owns the property itself. And yes, while Puzzles and Dragons is technically owned by Gung Ho, there is still a certain image that the developers of Puzzles and Dragons see, and they want to see it implemented into this collab, which is why certain collab items can be locked. And it's not, you have to bear in mind, this is not on the fault of the Ninjala devs. They got, I think, and I personally think they got way too much hate for it. I think it was unneeded, and obviously, eventually, maybe they'll address this. I know in Season 4, the Carry Pamu Pamu collab has been, the outfit specifically for that has also been unlocked, but it comes down to how the company wants the collab to be shown. That is ultimately what determines, why sets are locked or not. But despite the devs getting so much hate for this, I think the hate for locked collab sets is very minor compared to, personally, the one thing I really hated in Season 3, and that was yet again not having a single balance patch. And I think, I'll explain it a little bit, but I think at this point we definitely need some more patches. Ninjala Season 3, of course, much like Ninjala Season 2, they did not have a single balance patch throughout the entire season run. As I said, this is just a problem. I think Ninjala is a great game. I know it's got a bright future, but if the game remains in such a broken state and not balanced, I am very fearful. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on the devs over here at the devs behind Ninjala and the devs over at Gung Ho, because I understand that the effects of the virus have slowed development all over the world, but the game in its current state is very, very unbalanced. And I know the devs, of course, of Ninjala are keeping watch on certain aspects of the game, like what Shinobi cards are being used, how many drones are being broken, how much weapons are being used, and, you know, that's fine and good, but where's the balance? Where's the good hit detection? These are things that the team have had 3 seasons to look at over at Gung Ho, right? And again, I'm not trying to go too hard on them, because in the current state of the world, I know it's very difficult to pump out updates, especially on a consistent basis. But I think the game, after 3 seasons, now into the 4th season, granted we did get a patch at the beginning of Season 4, but the game is in a state where I think we could use monthly or bi-monthly, not only balance patches, but just patches overall to fix, like, bugs and stuff. There's a few majorly broken things that really come to mind off the top of my head that were not addressed in the Season 4 patch that we got. And the one is Trick Balls being able to 0 to death literally anything with the press of a single Y button. Utsemi Master's incredible spam ability. Wow, you have a lot of skill if you use that one. Winning a parry and then whiffing your next normal because hit detection said no. I mean, these are just a few things that have yet to be addressed, and hopefully they'll be addressed soon. But I think for all future seasons of Ninjala, at the very least, we could use at least a season patch at the beginning of the season, and at least one in the middle of the season, or whenever they feel like patches should come out. But I think more consistent balancing is needed. And granted, they have fixed some of these in Season 4. Not necessarily the Trick Ball being able to 0 death anything with a single press of the Y button. That still exists. But they did increase the cooldown of its Y button ability. So there is much to think about with that. So, baby steps, right? Baby steps. They're getting there. Overall, though, I would say Ninjala Season 3 was much better than the previous 2 seasons. With over 5 million downloads, Ninjala has definitely gained momentum over its current 6-month run. They continue to grasp at their fan base by constantly listening to feedback, and yes, they are listening. And of course, while it may take some time, it will be worth it in the end. They've got a great game on their hands, and with them continuing to push it to the limit, if they continue to come up with new stuff like merch, featured modes, ideas, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. If I had to rate my overall experience with Season 3, I'd have to say it took a leap from Season 2, but it did not take enough of a leap to keep it from gaining another point. So for now, I'm going to leave Season 3, my Season 3 rating, at 7 out of 10. Like I said, the future for this game is looking bright. I can't wait to see what they do next with this game, and I'm very excited to see what happens. Thank you all, seriously, though, for watching this video and watching to the end. I hope, of course, you enjoyed this review of Ninjala Season 3. Let me know in the comments below what you, of course, thought of Ninjala Season 3 and what you think can be changed currently in Season 4, or, what you think can still be addressed as the game moves forward. Of course, before I go, I'd just like to remind you as well that if, of course, you did enjoy the video, do me a favor. You guys know what you gotta do. You gotta hit that like button. And you also gotta hit that subscribe button, because I offered a challenge, and that challenge is, let's see if we can get this channel to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So make sure you're hitting that sub button, and maybe even click that bell if you want to be notified when I upload another Ninjala video. But other than that, of course, I have to take this opportunity to thank my donators over there on Patreon, MickeyPhorGens, Thomas, and Styleno, for their continued support to the channel. And of course, until then, this is CAJ Man 777, signing off. Stay safe, everybody.